The pachyderm's secret weapon against cancer is a zombie gene. Elephants hardly ever get cancer, and scientists have finally figured out why. Over 17% of people worldwide die from cancer, compared to less than 5% for elephants, even though they have 100 times as many potentially cancerous cells. One reason for this is they have over 20 copies of the tumor suppressor gene p53 that stops DNA damage from turning into cancer, while humans and other animals only have one. Because the cells died as soon as damage was detected, there is zero risk of them ever becoming cancerous. A University of Chicago study found that p53 can also trigger an inactive pseudogene in elephants called LIF6 to come back to life. When cell damage is detected by p53, it activates the LIF6 gene, which in turn produces a protein that pokes holes in the target mitochondria and causes it to die. This genetic resistance to cancer isn't just seen in elephants. Smaller critters like naked mole rats and gray squirrels also have mechanisms that keep them tumor-free. By studying how these animals' genes work, scientists are hoping to figure out how to prevent or treat cancer in humans. Animals do the darndest things.
Does a bear crap in the woods? Nope. A household in Wyoming got the shock of their lives after a bear wandered into their home and left a nasty little surprise. Max Brighter was having a nice Saturday afternoon nap when his dog suddenly started yapping from another room and wouldn't stop. He went to get the canine, but was instead greeted by a giant furry brown bear staring him down from the kitchen. Brighter locked himself in a nearby bathroom and frantically called everyone else in the house, who yelled and screamed as they barricaded themselves in their rooms. The noise made the bear feel uncomfortable, and it soon broke out of a window and scurried off, but not before depositing 2 giant turds on the living room floor. Lovely. The Wyoming Game and Fish Department say they're not going to go after old Crappy, unless of course he turns out to be a serial home pooper.
Badger and coyote photographed hunting together in epic team-up. Out in the wilderness of Wellington, Colorado, a tandem of typically fierce competitors has entered the running for planet Earth's Animal Odd Couple of the Year. A wily coyote and a burrowing badger. The photos have been snapped over the course of the past month and have nature enthusiasts across the internet wanting to learn more about their work as a tag team. As individual hunters, they do just fine, but together they strike fear into the hearts of their prey and drum up a fair bit of excitement for the likes of us humans. On the surface, it may seem an unlikely pairing, but underneath, the badger and the coyote's unspoken partnership has the potential for major rewards. The coyote and the badger share a common appetite for prairie dogs, marmots, and ground squirrels, but each has their own way of prepping the menu. The quick-footed coyote is adept at chasing down its dinner, pouncing on its prey at the perfect moment. However, the meal is not made easy. The rodents give themselves a chance by diving into burrows and escaping underground. The badger, meanwhile, is an expert at excavation, known for its supreme digging skills, able to unearth its dinner within seconds. But if the mark manages to give him the slip, it just might have a shot at outrunning its more sluggish slayer. But when the two team up, the unfortunate prey animals find themselves at a double disadvantage, the coyote covering territory above ground and the badger down below. The dynamic duo of carnivorous creatures has been observed trekking around in parts of Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Typically, they're most likely to form an allegiance during the summer months, as the badger has enough success on its own with those who try to hide during the thick of winter. While working together does breed some notable benefits, that doesn't mean the two are interested in dining at the same table. Whomever makes the kill gets to eat the feast. That's generally the rule. But in the meantime, having a bit of company to trot alongside across the continent's vast prairie lands probably isn't the worst thing in the world for a couple of loners.
In Russia, animals have the right to bear arms. A wild bear turned the tables on a hunter after making off with not one, but two of the man's firearms. The 57-year-old had taken refuge at a remote cabin in Siberia's Irkutsk region and was out getting water when a brown bear snuck into his sanctuary. The animal seemed taken with some hunting rifles and latched onto them. When the man returned, he spotted the bear and quickly ran into the woods, where he hid for several hours. By the time he came back to the cabin, the bear was gone, but so were his Vepr carbine and IZH shotgun. For the next few days, the hunter searched the taiga for his guns, but failed miserably. He finally called the cops, who are now investigating the bizarre incident. So far, they found bite marks on a plastic bucket and scratches on some logs at the cabin. No leads on the rifle-stealing bear, though, who's probably out somewhere having fun at getting to be the hunter instead of the hunted. Meanwhile, the actual hunter is facing a fine and could forfeit his right to buy and use guns for a year. All thanks to a gun-crazy bear.
Researchers discover angry octopuses turn darker colors. Scientists from the University of Sydney have discovered how octopuses communicate with each other by changing colors, including identifying certain poses that indicate a complex system of social signals that the marine creatures use to interact. After studying 53 hours of octopus footage, researchers concluded that the cephalopods turn a darker shade and try to make themselves appear larger or taller when they're being aggressive, and turn a lighter shade or make high contrast patterns when they're trying not to start trouble or if they just lost a fight. Darker octopuses will stand their ground when facing off with a lighter colored octopus. As you can see here, the octopus has taken a Nosferatu pose named after the vampire film. There goes the loser of the fight in a pale flash. This is the first study of a system of communication among fighting and high-fiving octopuses. In this clip, notice how the darker octopus chases the lighter ones away in a show of aggressive behavior. Octopuses have cells called chromatophores below the surface of their skin that allow them to change color.
Oh dear. When Japanese male macaques were spotted mounting female sika deer back in January, some passed it off as misdirected mating. But when it became clear females were getting in on some of the action too, one thing's for sure: macaques really like to do it with deer. The question on everyone's minds, though, is why? Adult male macaques apparently don't like their adolescent female counterparts, so the ladies in heat end up turning to another species for satisfaction. They thrust and grind their lady bits on the backs of their stag mates, which only tolerate them because they get groomed in return. That must be some good grooming, because the females can get pretty damn excited, with some rude ones even stealing someone else's stag. They're also very demanding and have been known to throw massive hissy fits if Bambi doesn't want to give it. Wild Japan, indeed. Who's been giving them birds alcohol? Britain's Animal Service recently rescued a number of seagulls on English beaches after they appeared to have gotten into a little alcohol, causing them to go a little cuckoo. Britain's Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals said someone called them about over a dozen seagulls that were seen walking around on the beach like they were a bunch of drunkards. The RSPCA staff said the birds at first looked like they had botulism, and most seemed to recover after vomiting. Meanwhile, the vans they used to collect the birds now smell like pubs. Ah, fun times. The RSPCA suspect that a brewery or other alcohol distributor in the nearby area did not handle their alcohol waste properly, and the birds somehow gained access to the alcohol being dumped out. A veterinarian with the animal welfare charity told Sky News a few of the seagulls have died after showing symptoms of intoxication, but many are recovering. Just like a drunk person, they need time to let the effects wear off before they're back to normal again.